All right, so we're going to look at equations that come about with percentages. And what we want to do is we want to look at some keywords that come out of. We will see of still means multiplication. And is will be our equal sign. And often we'll talk about what for the unknown number, the unknown quantity. So we'll start with an idea that 15 is what percent of 20. And so that would translate into 15 is what percent of, which is a multiplication, 20. But notice we have percent here, so when we solve this, we'll get a percentage out of the n. And what we can see here is we have some number times another number, so we'll divide both sides by 20. And 20 over 20. That will give us 15 twentieths equals n. And we'll simplify this. Both are divisible by 5, which is 3/4. And if we do the division, that's 0.75. But if we write that as a percentage, we'll move the decimal place to the right twice, and that's 75%. And so 15 is 75% of 20. Let's look at another one here. 2.4 is 25% of what number? So 2.4 is 25% of our unknown thing. Now we'll convert this to a decimal, so we move to the left to go from percent to decimal. So that's 0.25 n. Whoops, of should be multiplication. Got carried away there. And now I'm going to divide both sides by 0.25. And so n equals 2.4 divided by 0.25. And in this case, the best thing to do is probably to run towards our calculator. So let me grab my calculator off on the side here. Where did it go? Sorry, as you hear me grabbing the calculator in the backup. But 2.4 divided by 0.25. Big pause on the internet side of this, right? And that's 10. So n equals 10. And so 2.4 is 25%. I had to mistype something. Why did they give me 10? Yeah, I did mistype. I did 2.4 divided by 0.25 is 9.6. Helps if you use your calculator right. I accidentally did 2.4 divided by 0.24. Mistyped one. The answer is 9.6. So 2.4 is 25% of 9.6. let's look at another one. What number is 50% of 0.6? So what number is 50% of 0.6? And I'll convert my fraction to a decimal by moving to the left, the decimal point, 2 spaces. And of should be a multiplication. I keep writing the of when I say it. And if I do this multiplication, I get 0, I get with 3 decimal places. So n equals 0.3. And so 0.3 is 50% of 0.6. Now, what happens a lot is we have a general format for percent equations. We have the percent times the base amount is equal to the amount we get. PB and A are the common ways these are written. So this is usually PB equals A. Now, we can rewrite this. If I divide both sides by B, I get P equals A over B. So here I have A as the lone variable, and it's in terms of P and B. Here I have P as the lone variable, and it's in terms of A and B. And then in one other way I can write it, I can divide both sides by P, and I get the base is equal to the amount divided by the percent. And these are the 3 ways this percent equation can appear. So we'll go to what number is 45% of, which is 80. So I have a percent times a base equals the amount. So I could say that the percent is 45, the base is 80, and then A, the amount, is what we're looking for. So A equals 45% times 80. I'll move my decimal place over twice to the left. So 0.45 times 80. And so the amount is 36. Run to the calculator. And let's see. We'll do a couple more here. 65% of 90 is what number? So again, I have my equal sign and my multiplication. So 65 times 90 equals some unknown number. Now if we look at this as the percent base, here's my amount. This is A. My percent is 65%, and my base is 90. So my percent times the base equals the amount. I'll change this to a decimal by moving the decimal place over twice to the left to go from percent to decimal. Times 90 equals A. And I run to my calculator, and I get 58.5. So 58.5 is 65% of 90. And let's do one more. So what percent of 35 is 21? What percent of 35 is 21? So here I have my multiplications, and there I have my amount. So my percent is unknown, my base is 35, and my amount is 21. Well, if we scroll back up, if I want to find the percent, I'm going to use this form. So I'm going to say that P is equal to A over B. So P is equal to A over B, which means the percentage is equal to 21 divided by 35. And I'll go to my calculator, and the percentage is 0.6. This is written in decimal form. So to get to decimal to percentage, we move the decimal place over to the right twice, and the percentage is 60%. So 60% of 35 is 21. And so this is the standard way that we look at percentages with our equations. And we'll continue to explore percentages as we work our way through this module.